Welcome to the OLL Parity Guide. So in this video I'm going to be showing you all of the OLL cases on 4x4 and also 6x6 of course that have OLL parity. So before we start, I'm just going to quickly note that these are the ways that I think are the best ways. So some may not be the best ways for all of you, so kind of play around with it and see which ones will work best for you. So I first have to point out that there's two parity algorithms that we're going to be using. The first one goes like this, and as you probably notice, it swaps these two edges right here. And the other algorithm goes like this. And then this U2 afterwards is optional, and you'll see in a few cases where this one is used that sometimes you may or may not have to do that U2. And notice how in this case the edges do not get swapped like they do on this one, which will become important in some of the cases we go over. And I'll make it clear which algorithm you have to use. So this first one I showed you, I'm going to call it Parity 1, and the second algorithm we're going to call Parity 2. So with that said, we'll go ahead and get started. So first we're going to start with this case right here where we have this sort of flipped edge right here. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to do L, and then we're going to do the second parity algorithm. It must be the second one. We'll do a U2, and then we do an L prime, and as you can see our OLL is solved. Next we have these two cases where we have all of this here oriented correctly. So there's two cases here, one of them where we have all the yellow on front, and the other one where these two corners are kind of facing this way. So starting with this one, I'm sure all of you know, but this one you just do the parity algorithm, and it doesn't matter which one you do here, and that will solve your OLL. And for the remainder of this video, I'm going to be referring to this specific case here as pure parity. Now for this case right here, we have two options. The first one, we can just do the parity algorithm like normal here. Doesn't matter which one, and then we'll get this OLL, which isn't too bad. Alternatively, we can also do a U and then do two anti-SUNs like this. Do a U, and then we're left with pure parity, and that's it. Next we have these two cases right here, and as you probably noticed, these are mirrors of each other. So there's two options for these cases. So the first one is you do a U2 and then do the parity algorithm, doesn't matter which one, which will leave you with this TOLL, and for the mirrored one you can also do the same thing, it'll just come up from the other side. We can also do these two cases like this. So we'll start with this one, we're going to do a U, and now we're going to do two SUNs like this. Do a U2, and then we just have pure parity, and we're done. Now for this one over here, we're instead going to do a U2 and do two anti-SUNs like this. Do a U prime, and then once again we have pure parity, and we're good. Next we have these two cases right here, which look very similar to the previous two cases, but you'll notice how we have these sort of yellow stickers here on the side like this, which the previous ones did not have. So for these two cases, it's actually pretty easy. All we have to do is from the front do the parity algorithm like normal, doesn't matter which one, and then that will leave us with a SUN, which is very quick. And then the same thing goes on this one. It's just in this case it's the mirrored SUN, and that's it. Next we have these two cases right here that look kind of like an arrow. So we have two of them right here, one of them where these corners are kind of facing this way in the back, and this other one where they're kind of on the side like this. So we'll start with the one where they're on the back like this. So we're going to do an L R prime, and then we're going to do the second parity algorithm. It must be the second one. Do a U2, and then we're going to do R L prime, and as you can see the OLL is solved. Now for this other one where we have them on the side, we're going to instead just do two SUNs like this, and then that leaves us with pure parity, and that's it. Next we have these two cases right here, and notice how we have this sort of line of yellow up front like this. And also note that these two cases are mirrors of each other. So we'll start with this one right here. So What we're going to do is do one soon like this, and that's just going to leave us with pure parity. And then on the other one, we're actually going to do the same thing just on the other side like this. And once again, it leaves us with pure parity. Next we have these two cases which look very similar to the last two, except notice how we don't have this line of yellow up front like this. So for these two cases right here, we're just going to do the parity algorithm up front like this, and it doesn't matter which one. And as you can see, it sets us up to a soon, which is very easy to go straight into. And we do the exact same thing on the other one, and this time the soon is just on the other side, and that's it. Next we have these two cases right here, and notice that we have this line of yellow over here that is sort of adjacent to this sort of oriented corner like this, because you can turn this side and not break them up, and then the same thing over here. So we'll start with this one right here. So up front like this, we're going to do one anti-soon like this. And then that will just leave us with pure parity. And for this one, we do the exact same thing, except this time we're going to do the anti-soon on the left like this. And once again, we just have pure parity, and we're done. Next we have these two cases, which look very similar to the last two, but notice how this line of yellow up here is not really adjacent to this solved corner back here. So starting with this one, what we're going to do is just do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, and that will leave us with pure parity. And over here, we're just going to do the inverse of that, which is F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. And once again, we're left with pure parity, and we're done. Next, we have these two cases right here, where now we have this solved corner up here like this. So notice how we also have this line of yellow up here like this. So for these two cases, it's once again very easy. What we're going to do is just do the parity algorithm up front, and it doesn't matter which one. And then once again, we're left with a soon, which is very quick and fast to do. And the exact same thing applies for this one right here, just it's on the other side, and we're done. Next we have these two cases, which look kind of similar to the last two, but notice how we don't have this yellow line up front here like we did last time. So we'll start with this case right here. What we're going to do is do a U2, and now we're going to do the parity algorithm from back here. So it doesn't matter which one you do, but if you do the second one, you do have to include that U2. So we'll just go ahead and do the parity algorithm. And then right here we're left with this T case, which is a 6-move OLL, and we're done. And for the other one right here, we can do the exact same thing where we do a U2 and do the parity algorithm. And then we'll once again be left with this OLL, which we can do on the left side. Or you could also do a U2 and do it on the right side. And if you use that second parity algorithm in this case and you don't do the U2, you'll just be left with this and just be able to go right into it. So it kind of just depends on if you're comfortable doing that OLL algorithm on the left or right, and which parity algorithm works best for you. So kind of play around with it and see which way works the best for you. And the same thing can also be said for the mirrored case. Next, we're going to be going over these cases where we don't have any oriented corners. So we'll start with these two cases right here, where up front here we have these corners facing kind of away like this on both sides. So we have two of these cases. This first one we have here is where these back corners are also facing to the side, and this one where they're facing to the back like this. So starting with this one where they're facing to the side, what you're going to do is do the parity algorithm up front like this, and it doesn't matter which one. And then you're left with this case that you could do COLL if you know that, or you could just do a double soon and be done with it. Now for this one over here, instead of doing the parity algorithm first, we're going to do two anti-soons like this. And then that's going to leave us with pure parity, and we're done. For these next two cases, we have one of the corners facing up front like this, but one of them is still on the side like this. And you probably notice that these are mirrored cases of each other. So the way we're going to do these two cases is we're just going to do the parity algorithm up front like normal, and it doesn't matter which one, which will leave us with a soon, which is very fast, and the same thing goes for the other one, just this time the soon is mirrored, and we're done. Next we have these two cases right here, and this time we have a full line of yellow up front like this. And once again, we have back here, we have corners here that are facing kind of to the side, and then we have corners here that are facing to the back. So for both of these cases right here, you could of course just do the OLL parity like you normally would, and then do the resulting OLL or COLL if you decide to use that. But alternatively, you can do them this way. So we'll start with this one right here, where the corners are facing to the back. So we're going to do a U2, then we're going to do F, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. We're going to do a U, and then that will leave us with pure parity. And that's it. And then for the one where the corners are on the side like this, we're going to do a U prime, and we're going to do one soon like this. Do a U2, and then once again, we're left with pure parity, and that's it. Now we're going to be moving on to cases where we only have one edge flipped correctly. So we'll go ahead and start with this case right here where we also have all four corners oriented correctly. So the way we're going to do this is we're just going to do the parity like we normally would from this angle right here, and it doesn't matter which one. And then that's going to leave us with our 6-move OLL, which is very fast and easy to do. Next we have these two cases right here where we have these two corners in the back here that are oriented correctly. So notice how on this one we have this line of yellow up here, but over here we do not have a line of yellow, and instead these yellow stickers are on the side like this. So starting with this one where the yellow stickers are on the side like this, we're just going to do the parity algorithm like we normally would, and it doesn't matter which one we do. And then we're left with this TOLL that we can solve very quickly. Now for this one right here where we have the line of yellow up here, we're going to do it a little bit differently. So we're going to do a U, and then we're going to do a fat anti-soon, which goes like this. Do a U2, and then we're just left with pure parity, and we're done. Next we have these two cases here which kind of look like upside down Ys. So this one here we have these two yellow corners facing away like this, and on this one they're facing on the side that make these sort of lines like this. So starting with this one where we have these lines on the side like this, we're just going to do the parity like normal, and it doesn't matter which one we do here. And then that will leave us with this OLL that can be solved like this. And we're done. Now for this one right here, we're going to instead do a U prime, and then we're going to do F, R, U, R prime, U, prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, do a U, and then that will leave us with pure parity, and we're done. Next we have these two cases where we have this sort of, these two yellow corners on the side like this, and on this one we have this line of yellow on the side here, and on this one we do not have a line of yellow, and we just have it up front like this. Now there are mirrors of these cases right here, but you would solve them in the exact same way except mirrored. So what we're going to do for these two cases is do a U prime, and then we're going to do the parity algorithm from this angle here. And it doesn't matter which one you do because the resulting OLLs are going to be the same except mirrored, and I don't think that it's worth trying to figure out which parity algorithm to use in these cases because the OLLs are so similar and they're not that much different. So I would save yourself the hassle of that and just do the parity algorithm, whichever one works best for you. So we'll go ahead and do that. So right here, as you can see, we have this OLL right here that is just two fat soons, and then this one right here, which is just that. Next we have these cases right here, which make this kind of weird shape like this. And right here we have one where we have these two lines of yellow right here. But on this one over here, we only have this one single line of yellow like this. And there are mirrors of these two cases, just like with the last ones, but similar to the last ones, you actually do the same thing on the mirrored cases, just mirrored of course. So starting with this one right here where we have these lines of yellow over here on the side, we're going to do a U prime, and then we're going to do the first parity algorithm, and it has to be the first one this time. And that's going to leave us with a fat soon, and we're done. Now for this other one over here, we're instead going to do a U, and we're going to do the second parity algorithm. It must be the second one once again. And then you don't have to do that U2 afterwards, and you're just left with this, once again, a fat soon. Next we have these two cases right here where we just have one corner like this that's oriented correctly. Now notice on this one here that we have 3 lines of yellow, but on this one right here we only have 2 lines of yellow like this. And these two cases also have mirrors of each other, but they're actually going to be solved in the same way as we will here, just mirrored of course. So for both of these cases, one thing you can do is just do the parity algorithm up front like this, like you normally would. And then you get these two cases right here, which aren't too bad to do. But alternatively, you can solve them like this. So we'll start with this one where we have 3 lines of yellow. We're just going to do a fat soon like this. Do a U, and then that will leave us with pure parity. And then for this one right here, we're going to do a U, and we're going to do the second parity algorithm, and it has to be the second one here. And we don't have to do that U2 afterwards, and we're just left with this 6-move OLL, and we're done. And once again, for the mirrors of these cases, it's the exact same thing, just mirrored. Next we have these two cases where instead of the oriented corner being connected to the edge, we have it over here like this. Now note that we have this case here where we have this yellow line right here, but this case here we don't have the yellow line and the yellow stickers on the side like this. Now these two cases once again have mirrors, but we are going to be doing them in the exact same way, just mirrored. So we'll start with this case where we have this yellow line up front like this. So we're going to do the first parity algorithm. It must be the first parity algorithm in this case. And that's going to leave us with a fat anti-soon, and we're done. Now for this case over here, instead we're going to do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, do a U2, and that just sets it up to pure parity, and we're done. Lastly, we're going to begin going over cases where we have just this single oriented edge right here. So there are 6 of these cases right here. So we'll start off with these two where we have no line of yellow up front like this. We just have these 2 edges kind of on the side like this. So there's 2 of them like this. One of them where these back edges are also on the side, and one where these back edges are facing away like this. So as you notice on this one, we have this long line here, and over here we have this shorter line of yellow. Now the way we're going to be solving these is the exact same for both of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a U prime like this, and you can actually also do a U instead and do this from this angle, but both angles will work for this. So we're going to do the parity algorithm, and it doesn't matter which one you do in this case. The only difference is the OLLs you'll get will be mirrored. So right here we have a fat soon, and then over here we just have a 6-move OLL, and that's it. And again, that other angle will also work, and it doesn't matter which parity you do, like I said, it's just the OLLs might be mirrored. Next we have these two cases right here where this time we have a longer line of yellow up here, but we don't have a full line of yellow, and we also have this long line of yellow on the side like this. So notice that these two here are mirrored cases of each other, and the way we're going to be solving them is very similar. So we'll start with this one right here. What we're going to do is we're going to do 2 fat soons like this. Do a U prime, and we're left with pure parity. And then for this other one, we're again going to do 2 fat soons, but this time we're going to do them from on the other side like this. Do a U, and then we have pure parity once again. And a good way to remember which side to do it on is your first move should break up this yellow line right here. So in this case, it would be this one right here, which means we would have to do it on the right side, and over here it would have to be on the left. And then we're just left with pure parity, and that's it. These last two cases we have here have this like full line of yellow up front like this. So we have two of them once again, one of them where we have these corners kind of facing in the back, and then this one where they're on the side like this, forming these other two yellow lines. So starting with this one where we have these corners facing back, we're just going to do the parity algorithm like this, doesn't matter which one, and then that's going to leave us with our 6-move OLL, and we're done. Now for this one here where we have these two other lines, we have two options. First one is just to do the parity algorithm like normal, similar to the last one, and it doesn't matter which one. And this time we'll get this TOLL, which isn't too bad. Alternatively, you could also do it like this where we do a U, then we're going to do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, do a U prime, and that sets us up to pure parity, and we're done. So those are all the cases for OLL on 4x4 that involve parity. So thank you for watching. If there's any tips or tricks on OLL parity that I did not mention in this video, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you want to check out this same tutorial for PLL parity, the link will be in the description. So thanks again for watching and have a great day. Bye.